Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Are we ready for the first act of the evening? Please welcome to the stage, Joanne Lockwood.
Wow. It's really strange being trans. If you hadn't figured out, I'm trans, by the way. Suddenly, I've had to become an expert in a whole load of shit I never knew I had to be an expert in. I've had to learn what pronouns are and adjectives. And people keep asking me what my pronouns are. 5 years ago, I didn't care. Now, she, her, hers, part of my name, apparently. So my LinkedIn profile's on my Zoom account. Pronouns are really important. And I'm also expected to be an expert on toilets. People keep asking me where I stand on toilets. I prefer to sit down. People also ask me all this random information. And I don't mind because I'm kind of professionally trans. I cheated. I'm not trying to be stealth mode or anything like this. So I'm professionally trans. So I can go out to events like this and I'm Joe the Trans, a bit like Ivor the Engine or Jones the Steam, whatever it may be. Joe the Trans is here, yay. But there are certain times where being Joe the Trans is kind of tedious. When I'm having breakfast in a hotel, and someone leans over and says, I've never met anyone like you. Can I ask you a few questions? And suddenly they're sitting down giving me a Q&A over my bacon. So I've decided to write this book. And it's stupid questions not to ask a trans person. AKA, don't be a dick. And I've learned over the last couple of years that dicks come in all shapes and sizes. It's not just men that have dicks, women are dicks as well. Maybe we just call them Richard for the sake of argument for this evening, to be politer. So let me just flick you through my first couple of chapters of things, stupid things not to ask a trans person, because I can assure you there's plenty of material here for several books. What is my old name? Sorry, Dick, why does that matter? And the best one I had recently is, I did a talk, to Toastmasters International, and someone filled out the evaluation form and said, Joe's talk was really interesting, but her deep voice really confused me. What, could Joe change her voice, please, for next time? Fuck. Oh, the next one I like is my wife a lesbian? Well, she wasn't when I married her 34 years ago, and nobody asked her if she wanted to be a lesbian. But apparently now, because I'm trans, I'm a woman, my wife must be a lesbian. Well, I don't think so. Nobody asked her. Oh, the next one I love is, are you fully transitioned? So what you're really asking me, Dick, is, have you had your dick turned inside out and your balls chopped off? That's what you really want to know. Am I fully transitioned? Well, let me give you an example here. When we used to fly around the world, you remember flying around the world, those old days? 13th of March 2019 was the last flight I took on the way back from Amsterdam. Remember, you go into the airport, don't you? And as you walk up to security, you put your bag, you take all your shoes off or your belt in there, then you go through this big arch. Some of them have got these flashing machines where you sort of adopt this kind of pose. Yeah, at once, and you hear this noise as the thing sweeps around. And then you eject out the other side, and there's this beeping noise, isn't there? And then you're beckoned over by the security person. Luckily, the security person I get beckoned over by is a woman. She gets a little wand, you know, there's little wands, go, all that kind of stuff. And it gets to here, goes beep, 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 beep. That's my bra. Good. My jewellery. Then she goes, beep, 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 beep. So at this point, I look round. You know, there's always a little diagram, isn't there, of a person standing like this. And there's like a pink hotspot here and a pink hotspot here. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. And she's looking at me. And I'm thinking, I know what you're thinking. Unexpected item in the bagging area. So then, someone always asks me, how did your family take your transition? Well, they weren't fucking impressed, I can assure you. Is that what you're trying to find out, is it? But when I talk about my transition, I prefer to describe it as a rebrand. All I've done is change the packaging, shown who I really am. A bit, you remember Jif and Sif? They rebranded that. It was Opal Fruits and Starburst, wasn't it? And Snickers and Marathon. You're trying to nick my punchline. Thank you very much. So in the old days, I was Marathon. People loved me as Marathon. They consumed me as Marathon. I had parties as Marathon. And all I did was rebrand to Snickers. Different packaging. Still sweet on the inside. And still got nuts. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience.
I gotta say, is there anyone here called Richard? Because if there is, that was all directed at you. Right? You're a cunt. Right? It's plain and simple. So in the third row here, just like, I only just took a bite, but what's your name? Christine. Christine's been kind enough to buy a load of shit from the kitchen, but it's one bite and pass it along. She's going to start passing it backwards, and then it's just passing it back up. No more need for, because if one of us have it, we all have it by this stage, so we may as well, and at the end of the night, we're all going to spit in each other's mouth, so that's something to look forward to. I don't know if I should have, that was supposed to be a surprise, I don't know, Bill told me not to say anything because he gets off and that kind of stuff, I don't. And we're going to keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. Are we ready for the next act? Yeah. Absolutely.